Welcome, everybody, to the Outback Quarterback Podcast, the Week 14 review. I'm in the host chair. My name is Matthew Mayman, and I'm joined by Christopher Hall, the Hall Star. Good morning.
QB what, Dos?
Oh,
now that you're the host, do you still rate yourself as QB1?
I do, mainly because
Kurt's
of my...
a very modest host and always throws himself out as QB3.
He does, but
you're not.
Well, not this week because of my Bears-Packers prediction.
Yeah, you were close.
So we only got about 30 seconds in before I mentioned that, but that was a very good game. Producer Jim, how are you?
Good.
That's all right.
Just getting everything going.
Yeah, you got everything set up.
Do you feel like Dos is a little bit more excited this morning?
He's got a pep in his step.
Doesn't he ever? The host. I don't think he wants to give that chair up.
No, Curt, we didn't really tell us what he was doing. He just I'm hoping he's going
on a holiday.
To get out.
He said holiday, spending Muscle Cap Media's money. Again, shopping spree. Apparently,
more clothes.
Did he leave the family here? He's on his own.
I think he left the family.
He left the family here, so he's on a trip by himself.
The wife and three kids are here, and he's just legged it.
We're still waiting to get paid. All right, Curtis.
I hope he's getting our official NFL media accreditation.
I imagine that's what he's doing, and probably buying a little bit of merchandise.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be Chiefs merchandise?
Not after the weekend.
The Chiefs. We'll talk about the Chiefs and the Texans in a little bit and unpack what was a really good schedule. We had a lot of good games. There was a lot of games with playoff implications, and we're going to touch on all of them. Before we do that, I must mention the people that help us bring it all together.
Not Coast and Smoke. They're not sponsoring this episode.
Well, they're not today, but they've been good.
Wait, that.
And you did the...
we did do the Kansas City cook-up, so we should have a post out soon. Got some ribs and chicken lollipops going with the old Coast and Smoke rubs.
Is everything eaten or is there leftovers?
Unfortunately, it is eaten.
Okay.
Wait, what's a chicken lollipop?
It's when you take a chicken drumstick.
Yeah.
You kind of make a cut around the end of the bone. You rip it off and then push the meat down. So you got a big lump of meat and then
No
just a
way. I've
bone
never
sticking
seen
out.
that before. That'd be delicious.
Just fancy. Bit easier, cleaner to eat.
It's very good. Yeah.
Interesting.
We'll have to do another one.
I like that. Yeah, I know. I like how you picked a date when both Hawley and I were otherwise unavailable, but that's okay. Four Brothers Coffee, code Outback, 15% off. Some of the best coffee you will have. Suburban Brew, we thank them. Long-time sponsors of the Suburban Brew. 10% off their products, Hawley. Important time for Suburban. Festive season, so
right.
Beer is in
High demand.
In high demand. So
especially their beer, Dos.
it is. Well, I think I've got one.
Yeah, there's a couple down there.
Yeah, we gave a couple away on the watch along on the weekend.
The Adelaide Gold here forward pack. So make sure you get stuck into some Suburban Brew. And of course, Hawley, you have Wayne Phillips Kia.
10% off cars? No.
Oh, no.
No. No.
We'll have to check with the DP before we, dealer principal, before we start offering 10% off cars. But deals across the entire Kia range. And we are doing an episode from the dealership next week, which you and I haven't had a lot of detail on.
No, it is on Tuesday, isn't it?
I believe so.
AM, PM? Not sure yet.
James, you carting down all the tech gear for this remote episode?
Yeah, I think we're going up on the weekend to get it all up there and suss out how big a Kia Tasman tray is.
Okay.
Kurt back from his holiday by then?
I don't know.
How are you going to get it down? Are you going to have to carry it down the driveway?
We got a forklift.
That's a
coming.
day. That's a day in itself. Got a scissor boom lift from the street to pick you up from the top of the driveway.
Oh, fantastic. Well, let's go all the way back to TNF. And we're just going to touch on this game a little bit because this was almost a loser leaves town matchup, Hawley. The Lions got the win, 44-30. Unfortunately, their secondary took another hit. Brian Branch done an Achilles. Achilles injuries seem to be coming
everywhere in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean,
is it the surface, playing surface?
Well, potentially.
It's not as forgiving.
We seem to be getting more and more of them.
I don't remember it in the past. Now, we've been watching NFL for a little while. I don't remember back in the day all of these Achilles popping.
No. I mean, you look recently, Kirk Cousins.
Just toughed it up and played through it.
Oh, yeah. Just played on the ruptured Achilles tendon.
Tied him back up and get back out there, Ben.
Just strapped him up. So, I mean, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers,
Obviously, Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson,
Now,
Daniel
Danny
Jones, who
J.
we'll talk about in a minute. I mean,
Quarterbacks.
that's just the quarterbacks, right? So there are other guys that have had them. Jameer Gibbs. Now, start of the year, Jonathan Taylor was the fantasy darling. Man, if you've got Jameer Gibbs right now, you're probably top of your fantasy
There's a pretty
league.
good top 3 fantasy. Jameer Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey. JT's dropped off a bit, but Gibbs is he has to be 101 next year. At this stage, he's 101 in all drafts.
Absolutely. I mean, 3 touchdowns, 120 scrimmage yards. He's just so quick.
Throwing 7 points for 7 receptions, Dos.
Well, that too, but as soon as he gets into open space, well, he's just gone. You can't catch him. He is so quick.
And don't forget, you've got a guy called David Montgomery that's taken half a dozen to 10 touches every week and maybe a TD.
Yeah.
So sky's the limit for Jameer Gibbs owners.
But as we've seen with the Lions, when they run the ball well, they win. If Jameer Gibbs has even a 60% game, the Lions win.
Most teams are like that. If you run the ball well, you generally win the game or you get close to it. But when Detroit run the ball well, because their firepower on the ground is electric, they're almost unbeatable.
Yeah, and Penei Sewell just blocking defenders and throwing and creating lanes for everyone.
Season over for your boys?
My boys?
Cowboys.
Okay, Cowboys. Not my boys. Jerry was just sitting up in one of the suites there in Detroit, just thinking maybe those trades we made on defense probably not going to get us over the line this year. Unfortunately for Cowboys fans,
they're probably going. Do they beat the Chargers at home?
We'll have to see how the Chargers go today against the Eagles on Monday.
They're going 3-1 minimum. Vikings, Commanders, Giants.
But that only gets you 9 wins, doesn't it?
That'll get it, but with a tie.
Yeah.
If they beat the Vikings, they're 10-6-1. That should be good enough to.
I don't think it's going to be.
I think.
I don't think you're going to get. I think you need 11 wins for a wild card in the NFC this year.
It'll be close.
There's a lot of teams fighting for that. But Hawley, on Jameer Gibbs, you want to talk about some fantasy studs or some?
I'll just talk about some important fantasy players come playoff time. Jameer Gibbs is not part of that crew because it's just guaranteed that he will score points. Some of these guys are a little more. What do you do with them?
Oh, okay. Wonder if I mean, I have made playoffs in my fantasy. My 15-year absence, and
which you refuse to play fantasy football again next year.
I'm not playing next year.
Doesn't have the time for it, he reckons, Jim.
Jim, I can't invest. To be fair, I've been lucky with injuries. I've drafted to the point where I haven't had to go into waiver
you drafted
depth
a bloke called Justin Jefferson and you're still somehow sitting top of your league.
Yeah.
That is impressive in itself.
What,
I did.
You in Div 1?
I am not in any of the Outback leagues. I
The
thought
The
I
boys
would
were too scared to put their name out there.
I thought I would give that opportunity to a lot of our
fans.
listeners and to our fans rather than take up
I wanted to take up a spot.
No, you wanted to beat everyone.
I need a winner.
And you've limped to the playoffs in Div 1.
Crawling, genuinely crawling. It's like I've torn both my Achilles and trying to get up Curt's driveway. That's how I've got to the playoffs this
That's
year.
exactly how it's like.
Yeah.
All right. Justin Jefferson, yes. So I have not had the luck that I had with him in the first half, but nor the Vikings, to be fair.
Yeah, sure.
So who have you got?
All right. Oh, for the fantasy. Okay, let's talk fantasy plays. First one. Okay, Dos. This guy, I said at the start of the year he'd be the RB1 of the entire league. Then Smoking Joe Burrow got injured, but Chase Brown.
Did this end up going to air? Did we actually put this on our
maybe it didn't go to
socials?
air. I said Chase Brown would be RB1 at the start of the year, and
In a real gutsy call.
very gutsy call. And he's come good the last few weeks.
Yeah.
He's actually had a decent season if you look through his stats. But his last 6 starts, his worst finish has been RB13, and he's had a number of. I think he's had a number of RB10 finishes. And Burrow is obviously back now. Brown will get he'll get a fair few looks, and they play against Baltimore, Miami, and Arizona. They're the next 3 opponents. And they are all a little leaky against the run.
Yeah.
So I would be looking at Chase Brown as a pretty important fantasy running back coming into the playoffs.
Yep.
I've got a couple of wide receivers for you as well. So we'll start with one of my boys, and he's a risky play. So I love this guy. Absolutely love him. George Pickens. I talk about him a lot. And if he is
Just a bit.
if he is wide receiver 1 in Dallas,
Mm.
then he is basically wide receiver 1 in the league. Without CeeDee Lamb, he 100 plus and a TD, almost guaranteed.
Well, he's third most receiving yards come after week 14. He's only Jackson Smith and Jigba and Puka Nakua have had more.
But when he plays with CeeDee takes over. We've seen in the last couple of weeks. CeeDee was concussed on the weekend, which you generally do miss a week. Mind you, I think they had a 10 or 11-day break. So that might mean that CeeDee can still get up for it. But they play a couple of tough pass Ds over the next fortnight, Minnesota and the Chargers. But if you can stash George Pickens for those 2 weeks, come championship week, they play against Washington. Now, Washington are allowing a ton of yards and points to wide receivers. So
they're cooked.
Expect George Pickens and probably CeeDee Lamb to have a day. You hope that George Pickens turns one on and he's that guy that you can stash because he was drafted a little later in drafts this year. So he's a good one. If you did pick him up, you've really got your value.
He was because of the uncertainty, how he left, obviously what he produced in Pittsburgh, and a lot of that was due to poor offensive play calling over the last few years. Matt Canada.
Attitude horrendous. Possibly as well.
Attitude was one thing, and quarterback play was another thing.
Correct. And now he's got a quarterback. He has to throw it because they're down a lot, and he's been the number one guy with CeeDee out for a chunk of the year. But we'll see. We'll see how he goes for the rest of the season. If CeeDee does happen to miss week 16 and 17, then put all of your chips on George Pickens to play very, very well. Okay. Now, my big balls wide receiver move. If you got the balls to keep starting this guy, his name is Justin Jefferson, then the first off, if you've made the playoffs and you drafted Justin Jefferson, then you're a friggin' genius of a bloke.
This guy.
He's been top 10. He's been a top 10 wide receiver once this year, Dos.
I know.
Justin Jefferson has been a top 10 wide receiver once this year. He's had 15 yards over the past 2 weeks.
I'm well aware.
But
as Vikings fans are,
there is a bright light. They played Dallas. They play the New York Giants, and then they play Detroit. Those 3 games should be high scoring. They should be points. Dallas is going to be a shootout. New York Giants, you should score against. And then Detroit, Detroit put up points. So if you want to go with them, you're going to have to throw the ball and put up points. If you have the guts to start JJ, do you have the guts to start him in fantasy playoffs after he's had 4 yards and 11 yards the last 2 weeks?
It's either start Justin Jefferson or then I start moving flex players around and I'm bringing Khalil Shakir in. And
if you have the balls to start Justin Jefferson, it works for you, then you're a genius. But he is one that if you're a Justin Jefferson owner, you've got some huge decisions to make because the way he's playing, what he's producing, you can't start him. You just can't. But with who he's playing against and the talent that he is,
it's so hard not to though.
They put up 31 points on the weekend, Dos, and he had 11 yards.
Oh yeah. I know, and JJ McCarthy was back. We didn't get the Max Brosmer experience.
Well, so what are you doing? Because I wouldn't know what to do.
I will end up starting him because I just don't have the.
Like I said, if you've made the playoffs, if you're in the position to start Justin Jefferson this year, then congratulations, you've made the playoffs with Justin Jefferson. But for me, I think I'm in the same boat. You have to start him. You have to give him an opportunity, don't you?
Yep.
All right, I've got one last one for you.
All right.
It's an injured stash. So Garrett Wilson, if you have the depth, if you have the opportunity to stash Garrett Wilson, then he's one that could win you the chip this year.
You have him.
I have him. And I need him to play. I don't think he's playing this week. You might get him for week 16, maybe week 17. They keep saying that Garrett wants to play. He will play again this year. Whether or not they do, I don't know why he would. It's risky. He's the best wide receiver in your team. The thing is, if he does play, you won't find any other receiver in the league who will hog the ball and hog targets more than Garrett Wilson will. He played with Tyrod Taylor. I think it was week 3. He had he had 13 targets. He had 24 points. He was wide receiver 2 in the league that week. If he's back, then he's automatically a wide receiver 1 and maybe the wide receiver 1 in the league.
Ooh.
So he just needs to get back. So if you've got him there and he's playing, put him in your starting lineup. I don't see a world why the Jets would play him. But if he is, then he's a guy that can seriously win you a championship this year.
Yeah, the Jet season is, it was cooked a long time
it's
ago.
Over. But it
we're
is
now
tough
down
to hold
into undrafted Brady Cook coming in as third string quarterback.
It's tough to hold back a fit player, one who wants to play.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens with them. But they're my 4 guys that if you own those 4 guys, you're probably having a few. Well, Chase Brown's one that you're not having any issues. You have to play him. Those other 3 are probably some wide receivers, which you're just not quite sure what to do with. So hopefully that's helped a few fantasy managers out, Dos.
Good one, Hawley.
Thanks, mate.
Are you confident they're going to help you out?
Probably not.
All right, we're going to get into the Week 14 review. With no sound transition.
Yeah,
for-
no
there we
audio
go.
on that segment.
That's all right. One job,
Was it fun
James.
playing?
One,
Oh, yeah. It's a little earlier than usual, isn't it, boys? I got you out here an hour early so I could get to work. So I apologise and thank you for that. But
We are recording this at
we need a Red Bull sponsor.
before. We got the fridge
We got
empty, nothing
Empty.
in it.
No surprises there.
I don't think there's been anything in it.
Spending all his money on holidays again.
It's not turned on. It's just there in the background now, holding up the Justin Tucker Baltimore Ravens helmet, which we're still getting inquiries on TikTok about.
Sale.
Yeah,
Well, I wouldn't mind selling it.
you'd
I bought it a couple of years ago.
if you go through about the 200
Unreplied.
DMs unreplied in our TikTok, you'll get an offer where you'll cover the cost of that more than
Thank you, Curtis. Thanks for that, mate.
he just hasn't told you about it.
Beautiful.
Anyway,
This is a real
But-
put Curtis down episode at the
yeah,
moment.
just a
isn't it?
moment. We won't talk about him again until we get to
Sorry,
the
Kurt.
Texans. Now we're going to talk about Texans and Chiefs.
Oh, here we go. Game of the week.
Because on Sunday night
flogs.
football, not even Chris Collinsworth could get the Chiefs over the line. And are they going on the shelf
Shelf
of
of
shame?
shame. Top of it. They're the captains. See you later.
So they technically, according to Next Gen Stats, have a 14% chance to make playoffs, but
Okay.
they are cooked. They are done. I don't care. I'm loading up on the 86% because the first time since 2015, they won't win the division, Hawley. They won't make the AFC Championship game. I think they've made 7 in a row. The Texans are now the 7th seed, and they're 1 game back of the Jags. I'm going to talk about the Texans in a minute. Patrick Mahomes, he had a bad knee. He was banged up. He was still running for first downs. Travis Kelce, another drop this season that's resulted in an interception in a big moment. Rashee Rice got absolutely drilled by Jalen Petrie on one hit, and then a few plays later, you can't help but think when he dropped that 4th down play, Hawley, that I think he
He
might
was
have heard
waiting.
some
He heard
footsteps, some Jalen Petrie footsteps.
First 18, DOS kind of move.
Yeah, thank you for. I didn't hear footsteps. I always back into traffic. Time for a bit of a reset on offense. I think there's been the O-line has been banged up. Multiple starters out. I think they're down to about their 4th string left
I think
tackle.
that's what's hurting them. They've shown that they can get some movement on offense still. Like Rashi's good. Hollywood, a couple of plays a game. Xavier Worthy's there. They've got a couple of guys there that can make it work. But
Tyquan Thornton pops up for potentially 1 or 2 explosive plays a game.
or maybe a fortnight.
Well, okay, he's targeted on 2 a game.
But we saw what happened in the Super Bowl last year
We did.
when Mahomes didn't have time to throw the ball. Philly absolutely destroyed him. I think we compared it to CJ Stroud, right? What he had on Super Bowl night or Super Bowl day was equivalent to what CJ Stroud had all of last year.
Correct. Pressure
So now
rate,
I
yes.
think that pressure rate is happening again in Kansas City, and Mahomes can't make it work. And not many quarterbacks could make it work. And that's why Kansas City are sitting 6 and 7. I think the offensive line is the most important factor to this team.
And there's just those moments, Hawley, where those coin flip moments that went their way last year.
Correct.
Okay, I looked to last year. I mean, there were moments where that in seasons where they won the Super Bowl, sure, during the regular season, but specifically last year, they certainly, to me, overachieved by way of regular season wins. I thought they probably overachieved 3 or 4 wins than what they really were. And then this year, they just haven't had those moments go their way.
A lot of it, like you said, it was like that Rashee Rice last year. He catches that in 4th
That-
down. Travis Kelce,
Mahomes on 4th down last year was awesome.
and he put it in Rashee Rice's
Yeah.
mitts. Rashee just dropped it. The throw to Travis Kelce was perfect.
Yep.
But Travis Kelce dropped it last year. That kind of stuff wasn't happening to them. So,
Yep.
I mean, they've had an unbelievable run. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm not writing them off until they're the calculations say that they cannot make playoffs.
0%.
Yeah, because you still got Patty Mahomes, you've still got some weapons. The bloke he's the second coming of the GOAT. So
you just look at who they play and who they've now lost tiebreakers against with
tough.
teams.
Yeah.
Chargers, Texans, Jaguars. Teams that are going to be fighting for that Bills, that wild card spot. I just don't think they're going to have enough wins.
The Texans, though, Duss.
Let's talk about the Houston Texans because the Texans season, Hawley, against the Jaguars, they were 3-5. They had Davis Mills at quarterback, and they were down 19 to the Jags at the end of that third quarter. They smashed them 26 points to 0 in that quarter, and have won 5 in a row since.
What if they lost to the Jags that day?
It's season over.
It's probably done, isn't it?
That's it. They're done.
Oh.
Because then it's too hard with tiebreakers and divisionals, and I think they're too far out of it. D'Amico Ryans looks like taking the Texans to the playoffs 3 years in a row now. CJ Stroud in this game, and we were in our group chat with Whitey and Nug, who are diehard Texans fans, made some unbelievable plays on third down. If you just solely look at the box score of CJ Stroud and you're like, he only completed about 50% of his passes, you need to go and watch how good he was in crucial moments of this game, because it only took those moments on offense that, for the best part of this year, has struggled to find any sort of continuity. Nico Collins exploded for a couple of big plays in this game, but outside of that, it has been tough sledding, especially running the ball. But Hawley, when it matters most, their defense once again stood up, and CJ Stroud, third year in a row, third year in the league, is going to take his team to the playoffs.
And that's where it is. The offense, I mean, they've won their last 4. They haven't scored more than 23 points. They've scored 16 points against the Titans, 23 against the Bills, 20 against the Colts and the Chiefs. And you look at that and you think, okay, that's probably like a 2-2 record with what they're putting up on offense. But their defense is absolutely killing it. They're the best in the league.
I think
top defense in the league.
I think talent-wise,
close to Seahawks are rolling pretty well as well.
Well, you got Texans, Seahawks, Broncos, and then I think it's probably the Rams, Packers, and then it's after that I think it's daylight.
Not a whole lot. The Texans defense is, if not the best in the league, it's top 3, and they're absolutely carrying the Texans at the moment. And then you throw in a little bit of CJ Stroud magic here and there, and that's all they need to win. That's what makes, the old classic defense wins championships, Doss. That is exactly what is happening to the Texans right now. And that Broncos loss, was when CJ was
concussed.
So they were leading. They were leading when he got concussed.
Correct.
So if he didn't get concussed, they win that. Then they're leading the AFC South or close to it, and they're staring down the barrel of a very, very handy season. But their next 4: Cardinals, tick; Raiders, tick; Chargers in LA.
They smashed the Chargers in the playoffs, though, in LA last year. You
call it a 50-50, and then the Colts, with how they're going now, you probably say tick. They got 3 of those at home as well. So coming into the playoffs, they only have to travel once. You'd expect them to come in on the back of 3, maybe 4 wins.
Yep.
You Texas fans.
So that's going to be.
I reckon you're allowed to get a little bit excited, Texas fans.
So that could be 9 in a row coming into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's when you want to get hot. And they've been healthy on defense. Derek Stingley is awesome. Kamari Lassiter had a really good game as well. Their linebackers are flying all over the place. The Jalen Petrie, I know I mentioned the hit on Rashee Rice. His interception where he's tipped it, it's popped up in the air, and he's looped back around and then caught it on the second go.
It's working, isn't it?
Everything's
working.
Is happening. For the Texans, and it's if you're a Texans fan, it's good to see. There was a few years, a lot of lean years there, post Deshaun Watson.
Same as the Pats. It was tough those 3 years that we had a losing record.
All right, good thing that you brought up the Pats. It's a good segue
let's
because they had a bye week. Out of all the teams that are currently in the playoffs in the AFC, as a Patriots fan, what team in a one-off game do you want to face the least? I'd have my answer. Who are you most
AFC.
scared? Yeah, who are you most scared to face right now in a one-off elimination playoff game?
The Texans are on a heater, aren't they?
I'm thinking it's Houston.
It's not the Jags. I don't think it's no one from the North. It could. It could be the Bills purely because it's an AFC East showdown.
The Josh Allen aura.
And that brings a little bit more. With how Josh Allen played yesterday, I'll probably still stick with the Bills. I know we've spoken about them being a little bit pretend for a lot of the year, but when they show up, they show up. Otherwise, it's a coin flip between Texans and Broncos. I don't want to go near those defenses.
Yeah.
'Cause if they smother Drake, then I don't know where we go from there.
Nah, I would not want to face the Texans in a one-off playoff game.
Not at the moment. Not how they're going at the moment.
Let's go into the other AFC South, and this was the fight for the number one spot in the division. Indianapolis went to Jacksonville, and unfortunately, this game, even before Daniel Jones went down, kind of looked like they weren't going to do much.
They've dropped off a little bit, the Colts.
Daniel Jones has done his Achilles. They were down 14-7 at the time. Now, he was playing. This was the opposite leg to which had the fracture in it.
Sure.
The
Yep.
fibula fracture. Is there a bit of compensation there, Hawley,
You'd
maybe?
think there would be, but an Achilles isn't just an injury that just kind of goes. Like that's a solid.
How many weeks we talking?
It's start of next year.
Oof.
Yeah.
I think you'll miss the first probably 6 to 8 weeks.
They're
of next
talking
season.
possibly starts in the start of next year if everything goes to plan. But you never know with these NFL guys. They seem to recover from. He could play next week.
Anywhere between 10 and 12 months for an Achilles. It really depends on how well the surgery goes.
So where do
and
the
how
Colts
well
go? Do the Colts? Are we going to see Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Flacco agree to part ways?
Oh.
Joe Flacco signs with the Indianapolis Colts.
So at the moment, firstly for Daniel Jones, he's on a 1 year, $14 million contract.
That hurts.
At the moment.
This hurts. This is a massive decision for the Colts now.
Daniel Jones has now had, before I get back to your question on who's going to come in and play this week, he's now had neck surgery in 2021, an ACL in 2023, and now an Achilles in 2025. These are all fairly serious injuries. These aren't like what you say, the soft tissues.
I think he signs another year.
Well, my question was going to be Anthony Richardson is on IR.
I forgot about
with
Anthony
the fractured
Richardson.
eye socket that he copped in a pre-game warm-up. Riley Leonard came into this game as their third string, and they've got Brett Rippon on the practice squad right now.
So who plays this week?
It's probably Riley Leonard.
Unless they can find a waiver wire somewhere, pull someone out of retirement.
Unless you're
not sure who, but
yeah, I mean it's getting pretty grim.
They're still there. There's no point in playing Riley Leonard. I think you've given up on your season.
Well, they've got no first round picks the next 2 seasons from the Sauce Gardner trade, which is now
Did Sauce play on the weekend?
He did not, so he's out with the calf injury.
Just as it was going so well.
They're 8-5.
Oh, they're gone. They've play the Seahawks this week, and then they play the Texans week 18.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Seahawks away, Niners and Jags at home, and then the Texans away to finish the season. To me, they're going to finish 8-9. They're not going to make the playoffs after what were they 7-1?
Yeah.
Were they 7-1?
No, 8-2. 7-1, 8-2. Yep.
There you go. Are you giving Daniel Jones a contract extension for next season?
Yes.
And
yes.
I'm
giving him a year.
You giving him another 1 year extension?
If he was fit and they went 2-2 over the next month and they ended up 10-7 and scraped in, or they missed the playoffs, it would be a tough call to make because of the way he's played. There might be some other teams knocking on the door, so they might be forced to give him a big contract. But now that he's torn his Achilles, they have a little bit of power to say, well, mate, you've torn your Achilles. We don't know how long you're going to play next year. We're still going to give you a contract because of how well you played this year. And next year, if you play well, then we sign you for your 3 or 4 $35 million a year contract. And I think he'd take it. I think he takes the year at 15 mil. It's good for Colts. It's good for Danny J. I don't think Danny J needs the money either because remember, he signed a good deal with the Giants.
Yeah, still living off that nicely.
So he's living off some interest off of that deal.
But 4 year, $160 million.
If you're Danny J and another team comes calling, if they say, hey, we'll throw out 3 years at 35 a year, you take it? And then the Colts have to match it?
Well, he's a free agent, so
you have to take it, don't you? So then it goes back to the Colts because, like you said, don't have a first round pick the next 2 years, so they're not grabbing a QB. They have Anthony Richardson, who they bench for Daniel Jones, and then for Anthony Richardson hasn't been much. So they have to keep it. I think they have to keep Daniel Jones.
No, they have to, because otherwise they're back in this
They need to
cycle of, now we've got to find another starting quarterback.
They need to sign him this week and do it as a good faith. You just got injured. We're signing you straight away for next year.
They can do that.
Yeah, I think they need to get it sorted now.
That's not bad. Well, Mark Andrews signed a contract extension during the week, which
It's
kind of
interesting.
well,
I know.
it's more the timing. Like, I don't
Haven't
necessarily
looked at it.
mind.
I imagine it's.
I don't mind the contract. It's just you don't often see
He's old,
contract
though.
extensions in
He's
December.
an old tight end. Is he 32 or 33? Which isn't
know
that
his
old,
age.
is it? We're 35.
Uh,
Anyway,
the Jags, we're going to touch on them. So they've won 4 in a row now, 9-4, lead the AFC South by a game. I mean, we spoke about the Texans comeback before. Realistically, they should be 10-3. They blew that game a few weeks ago. And their only other losses, Hawley, the Jags, Bengals away week 2. That was with Joe Burrow playing in that game.
Yep.
They lost to the Seahawks, which is fair.
Yep.
They lost to the LA Rams in LA, fair.
Yep.
Do you trust Trevor Lawrence
I
and the
don't.
Jacksonville Jaguars yet?
Not at all. But for some reason, we have to.
I feel like this was his best game in the NFL for about 3 years.
And Travis Etienne is quietly putting together just a
He is.
handy season. He's going to top 1,000 yards. He'll go close to 10 TDs. The Jags, and the Jags needed it. Trevor Lawrence needed this season.
Oh,
If they failed this year, then they're in strife. But now maybe we are just trusting them a little bit, because when you look at the AFC South, Houston, like we said, probably best defense in the league. Indy had the best offense in the league for 3/4 of the season so far.
Yep.
And Jacksonville somehow leading it. So there's no way to say that you can't trust them.
Brian Thomas Jr.'s come back, and they're finally using him on deep routes, which I'm so happy to see, because it just was not happening in the first part of the season. Jacoby Myers, who they got at the trade deadline, has come in and playing a nice role too. Collectively, their defense is pretty solid. Coming into week 14, they'd given up the fewest rush yards,
Yep.
and they're third in the league for takeaways as well. They do force a lot of turnovers.
If it doesn't work this year for Jacksonville, then I think a 26-27 season is going to be quite exciting for them, because you throw a Travis Hunter in, a year 2 Travis Hunter, and depending on where he plays or what he does, we know he's electric. We know what he did in college. He's going to add a fair bit, whether it's offense or defense, to this team. So I think if it doesn't work for the Jags this year, then I would start to get excited about next year, definitely.
So Jacksonville Jaguars, you have our attention. You are playing well,
Absolutely.
and
Good luck.
you got a good
Good
little run here. The Broncos went to Las Vegas, Hawley.
Yep. They beat them.
They
Not surprising.
now have a 10-game win streak. They're the number 1 seed at the moment, because your Patriots lost to the Raiders in week 1.
Mm.
They're 11-2. The final score was 24-17. Interesting that this was the first game all season that they've led the entire game.
Was
The
it?
Broncos, which when you think about it, makes sense. There's a lot of Bo Nix fourth quarter comebacks. They've started poorly in a lot of games this year.
The Broncos are my 2024 Chiefs.
Okay, go ahead. Is this
Beat
just
the
because
Raiders.
they're
Beat the Raiders by a score. Commanders by a point. Chiefs by a field goal. Raiders by a field goal. Texans by a field goal.
Mhm.
Giants by a point. Jets by 2. Eagles by 4. That's Chiefs of last year, isn't it, Dos?
There's a lot of coin flip moments that have gone Denver's way this year.
Mhm.
However, as I said before, they're probably the second best defense in the league.
The defense is better than what the Chiefs had last year, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, the Chiefs' defense is pretty good. I shouldn't throw shade on them. They've been pretty good for a number of years too, but
This defense at the moment's elite, though, in Denver.
it is.
Mm.
Nick Bonito, once again, he had another couple of sacks. He just continues to lead from the front. Their secondary is locked down. They got linebackers that fly around all over the place. The defensive front just constantly puts pressure on opposition quarterbacks. But Denver, I know the final score was 24-17, but they had the cue in the rack at like early third quarter. Like that, Sean Payton had the headset off and was basically to Pete Carroll and the Raiders, yeah, you're not going to score on us. Like, we're good.
Yeah, the Denver are a very, very good outfit this year, especially on defense. They'll be playing. They're obviously playing playoffs. You'd expect them to go deep. We're talking about who, if I was a Patriots, I am a Patriots fan, who I don't want to play as a Patriot. Denver. If it's not Houston, then it's Denver, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Bo Nix in this game made any throw he wanted. They're starting to get, J.K. Dobbins been out injured. He's out for the rest of the season unless he.
But
can come back
RJ
for playoffs.
Harvey stepped up and he's playing very, very well.
He looks
now.
good, and I was bullish on RJ Harvey before the season started, and it's taken some time. And as he's getting more carries and more workload and designated runs called for him, he's starting to play really well.
They drafted him as the guy, right? They drafted him because they needed a running back, and they obviously picked up J.K. Dobbins, and we know J.K. Dobbins hasn't been the most trustworthy running back over his career. When he does play, he is very good, and he was running well this year. Like he was up to over 750 yards, 4 TDs at 150 yards a carry, so he's going 4 yards a carry or 5 yards a carry.
It's just another season that ends on IR for
Correct,
J.K. Dobbins, unfortunately.
which is his career to date. So they're lucky and smart by them to pick up someone like RJ Harvey, who a first year back probably would have struggled to carry the whole load for the entire year. But now he's going to be fresh, come into playoffs, and it's going to work really well for the Broncos.
Sean Payton loved him because they traded up in the draft to get RJ
Sean Payton
Harvey,
loves you,
so.
then you're doing something right.
Now, the Raiders never in this game. We got to see some Kenny Pickett because Geno Smith went out of the game injured.
He did.
Now, since Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator who was fired a couple of weeks ago, I've not seen a lot of difference to this Raiders offense since their offensive coordinator was fired. They're the lowest points scored in the league. How flat are you as an Ashton Genty fan from last season, who you are on the record believe should have won the Heisman Trophy? How flat are you watching Ashton Genty play for the Raiders each week?
I'm flat. I feel sorry for him more than anything. He has the least amount of yards per carry before contact.
Contact, yep.
Which means that his offensive line isn't touching him. Because we watched him in college. We know he can make defenders miss.
Yeah.
And if he's not making a miss, he can run through them. But at this level, if you've got two big boys coming at you before you've even grabbed the ball, you don't hold much hope. So the Raiders need to upgrade their line. If they can upgrade their line, then they can let Genty run. They've got Bowers still. They do have a couple of weapons. They just need an offensive line. And
a competent quarterback.
I don't think Ashton Genty for them was the right choice at the draft. I think you take a running back when you're ready to compete. Same as throw it out there. Same as fantasy football. You take running backs when you're ready to compete because their lifespan is 5 to 7 years. If you're Derrick Henry, you get a decade out of him. But most running backs are going to have a real good 5 to 7 year patch. And Genty, they're going to waste 2 to 3 years of that because they don't have a line, and he's going to run it 3.5 yards a carry, 4 yards a carry tops until you get a good offensive line, and then Ashton Genty will be running at 6 yards, 6.5 yards a carry, and making blokes miss.
I'm so glad you said that because I have Raiders fans in my life that were actually disappointed that the Raiders drafted Ashton Genty because it wasn't the biggest need for the team.
They needed
a quarterback
or
for a start, and they needed to address the offensive line, and the defensive front outside of Max Crosby is next to nothing as well.
There's nothing there.
So it's interesting.
I imagine they address that this year. I imagine they go after an offensive lineman this year.
Do you think they're the most disappointed fan base being?
Well, if you want to quickly talk about fan bases,
being 2-11 currently, tied with the Giants with the worst record.
No, I wouldn't be. They wouldn't be because their fan base is used to it.
Okay,
I don't think that they would have been expecting to make waves this year.
But you got Pete Carroll who's come in as a new coach who I think looks done.
They do only have 2 wins, don't they?
Geno Smith looks cooked. They've got no answers at quarterback. They still have their draft capital, but man, there's so many holes. It's still going to take another couple of seasons to rebuild this roster, and and to me, I don't even know if Pete Carroll's going to be coaching there next season.
He'll be coaching there next season.
The Raiders have no issue with paying out coaches. They're still paying out 3 of them.
I think he
paid.
Definitely plays there next season.
Right.
Coaches there next season.
Okay. So if it's not the Raiders, because I think their fan base are just flat, who have you got as your most disappointed? I mean, there's probably a few teams you could look at. The Ravens would be one. I don't think Lions fans be too happy with where they currently sit at the moment.
Yeah, I suppose you look at a team that their expectations are quite high, and if they haven't met them, or teams that they didn't have expectations and they still sucked like a Raiders. I think that kind of fan base, or the Jets, that kind of fan base will be disappointed, but they didn't hold a lot of hope going into the season anyway.
Jets,
so.
Browns, Titans, Giants, they're all teams that we identified as
Correct.
being likely 4 to 5 win teams. Same with the Saints.
I'd have Falcons and Vikings in the same kind of category because they're both starting off with essentially rookie quarterbacks. Both of their quarterbacks hadn't had a full season under the belt, especially JJ McCarthy.
Yep.
The Vikings would have to be flat coming off it. What did they have last year? 14
wins.
14 wins last season, got rid of their quarterback, and now watching that quarterback take Seattle to the playoffs, and you'd expect to go pretty deep. Vikings fans would be flat. Falcons fans would be flat with the amount of first-round capital they have in that offense and just can't get it working. Even with Kirk Cousins, they can't get it working.
And the fact that they traded out their first-round pick to the LA Rams this season. So when you trade out your first-round pick, that means that we're all in on this season. We believe we're going to be good.
I think it's maybe a controversial one, but maybe the Colts now. Because the Colts would have been absolutely pumped. The last couple of weeks, they've traded out their first two first-round picks. That's the one I was spit it out. They've traded them out for Sauce. Now Sauce is injured. Now Daniel Jones has gone down. They've lost the last 3. They probably can potentially miss playoffs. I'd be pretty flat if I was them at the moment because next year, you'd almost look forward to next year now if you're a Colts fan.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. But otherwise, Dos, I think the Commanders coming off a playoff win last year, they've won 3 games this year. I know their QB was out for a fair chunk of the year, but still you would have walked into this season thinking we're pushing for a Super Bowl. And now you're pushing for it. They got their first round pick.
They do.
Yeah. So now they're looking at a top 5 pick after hoping for the Super Bowl. And they're probably in a similar boat to your boys, the Ravens, right?
Not my boys, but both of those teams. Washington's had the year from hell when it's come to injuries. They've lost, you go back, Austin Eckler. They lost early on in the season. Achilles as well. There's another one that just come to mind.
Yeah, running back. And they got rid of Brian Robinson and then
traded Brian Robinson.
Down. Yeah, correct.
So their running back room, Terry McLaurin missed a lot of the season. Didn't have a lot of the preseason as well, to be fair, with the contract holdout. The offensive line's been banged up. On defense, they've had most of their pieces there, but as soon as Jaden Daniels went down, and I know he came back in this game, but it just hasn't worked for them. And Dan Quinn's got a lot of pressure on him. I thought they would regress, Washington. I thought they'd probably be a 9 or 10 win team. I didn't think that it would be the season from hell that they're having.
It's been tough
right now. A team that is not having a season from hell is the LA Rams. And they went into Arizona and beat the brakes off their divisional rivals, Hally. 45-17. They go to 10-3. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC currently. They had over 500 yards of offense in this game, 30 first downs. And Matt Stafford, after the mulligan against Carolina, is now back to looking like the MVP frontrunner.
He looks very, very good. I think with all the attention that Matthew Stafford in this passing game is getting and their receivers with Puka and Devontae Adams, he's had a lot of TDs this year. This run game is it underrated?
I think so.
Because Williams, Kyron and Blake on the weekend were unbelievable. What they go for, 212 yards, 3 TDs. They were off of 15 carries, by the way.
Yeah.
The run game went at 6.9 yards a carry, and this is including some junk time from Ronnie Rivers going at 5 yards a carry at the end of the game.
I don't know who Ronnie Rivers is, but well done for coming in.
Yeah. The run game is, this whole offense is just clicking.
Yeah.
Like Stafford is flying. The run game is pounding. The receivers are catching everything. It's a formidable team at the moment there. I know we spoke a few weeks ago about who was the best team in the league, and I said it was the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
They've gone on to lose 2 and have not played very well. And then last week, the Rams, like you said, had that little blimp, the mulligan. They lost as well, but you can't go past the Rams. They're not a beat-down team, are they, Dos? What's their record? Are they beating down on some average opponents?
They're beating some good teams, the Rams. I mean, I know they lost to the Philly losses in there. That was a game that they probably should have won.
They are stat padding a bit against some, like the Cards 45-17, Bucks 34-7, Saints 34-10. But at the same time, you can only play against who you can play against. So
Yeah, but they've beaten Seattle.
They've beaten Seattle. They beat the Niners in between that. The Panthers loss was a bit of a loss, but yeah, I think this team is looking forward to the playoffs now.
They certainly are. And another team in the NFC West that has moved to 10-3 as well is the Seattle Seahawks. They went into Atlanta. This game at halftime was 6-all, and it was a bit of a defensive slugfest in the first half. And then the kickoff after halftime, Rashid Shaheed goes 100 yards, Hawley. That makes it 13-6. The very next drive for Atlanta, Bijan Robinson fumbles it. Then the Seahawks have 88-yard drive, 2 big plays from Jackson Smith and Jigba. It becomes 19-6. Kirk Cousins throws an interception. On the next drive, 23-6, and then it's game over.
Yeah,
Seattle.
Seattle are flying. Like we said, their defense is one of the best defenses in the league.
Oh, yeah, does it
But
ever.
along with that, they've got a quarterback who is more than capable of running an offense. They've got JSN, who is flying. Cooper Kupp pops up when he needs to. A couple of very capable running backs as well,
Yep.
Charbonnet and Walker. So this team is putting together a very, very handy season. And like we mentioned, I think Minnesota fans would be looking at Seattle and Sam Darnold. I think Justin Jefferson would be looking at Sam Darnold and JSN in the season they're having, and then thinking, now I'm having this season with JJ McCarthy. But on the other side of it, Dos, probably don't need to talk about the Falcons much because they're 4-9.
They're disappointing.
They're not in the playoff contention. But it is good to see Kyle Pitts popping up, 6 receptions, 90 yards. And there was a lot of talk about him the last couple of years.
Last couple since his rookie season.
But he has had a better year this year. But this offense has the weapons. I mean, Drake London's out. Something needs to give next year. They need to get this thing working. They've invested a lot into it. So Atlanta Falcons fans, I'd be pretty frustrated if I was you.
Well, there'll be question marks because Michael Penix Jr. probably won't be available for the start of next season. At this stage, you never know with the NFL, but it could be rolling with Kirk Cousins again.
Could the Colts take some of Kirk Cousins' salary this year?
Not this year. They might. I don't even know if they would look at it for next year, to be quite honest. I don't know if you want to go down the well with another vet. They've done that before with Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz. I don't know if you want to go back down that to half a year out of Kirk Cousins. But this Seattle football team is scary good. They're well coached by Mike McDonald. Nick Imamwari is an absolute freak and should win Defensive Rookie of the Year. They've got the Rams in 2 weeks' time on Thursday Night Football, Hawley.
That's exciting.
That's going to determine the division. Hopefully Al Michaels can get up for that game because he was coughing fit at the end of the Lions-Cowboys game. And I wasn't sure he was going to make it at the end of that game.
Well, they've got the Colts next week, and that was going to be a bit of a blockbuster, wasn't it? But now Danny J out, it looks a bit more like a Seattle walkover.
They'll take care of him. The NFC North. So the Bears came in to week 14 as the number 1 seed. They leave week 14 as the number 7 seed.
Against your Packers.
Now, this game did deliver. I had the prediction of 27-20. It was 28-21. But it was a game that when you've got two teams contending, you want to see a good game. And we got a good game of football. It was freezing cold, Lambeau Field. Bears led the league in takeaways coming in to this week, Hawley, and the Packers had the fewest giveaways. And the first drive, the Packers were moving the ball well. Then Jordan Love throws it straight to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And I thought, oh no. And it was a horrible throw as well. It was not near anyone. Brady couldn't even defend it on the call. And I thought this is either going to go two ways. It's going to be Love, it's going to bounce back, or this is going to be a 3-pick game and the Bears are going to win this game.
Yeah, you just thought for a second that, oh no, Green Bay doing it again. We're going to lose. The boys are going to come into the podcast. They're going to tear me to shreds. I'm going to deserve it. But then Jordan Love just walks out and says, hold on a minute. I want to be like Drake May. I'm not going to let this happen. And he goes 3 TDs, a pick. They didn't tear Chicago to shreds, but they took care of them. Christian Watson has been very good.
He was someone I picked up in waivers this year.
The last little while. I think he's had 4 receptions over the last month each week.
Each week. Yeah.
But he's getting yards, he's getting TDs. And we said this at the start of the year. We went through their receivers and said Christian Watson is the guy. Doesn't get many, but he gets big yardage. So then we needed guys like Golden and Romeo to just kind of fill the void. They haven't really so far. They didn't on the weekend, but Christian was good enough and Jordan Love was good. And Josh Jacobs was having a season, isn't he?
Yeah, Josh Jacobs was really good running the ball in this game. Jaden Reed came back off IR and played his first game since that collarbone injury earlier in the season against Washington. I think that was in about week 2 or week 3. So he good to see him came back. Bo Melton popped up for a big play in this game. And in the first half, Packers were 14-3 and they'd outgained the Bears 207 yards to 71. And the defense was all over Caleb Williams. Like they had him scrambling. He was throwing the ball away. He didn't want a bar of Micah Parsons and the defensive front. They were making plays. And then in the second half, to Caleb's credit, he made some really good throws. He was scrambling out of the pocket. He was rolling to the right. He hit Cole Kmet and Colson Loveland with some excellent passes. Swift and Monongai started running the ball well in the second half, and the Packers couldn't get stops. The only drive the Bears didn't score on in the second half was the interception on 4th and 1 that ended the game.
I think the Bears are coached well now.
They're coached very well. Ben Johnson's very good.
Ben Johnson knows what they're doing. He would have gone in at halftime and said, "Hey guys, 200 yards to 70, not good enough. This is why this is happening. This is what we need to change, and this is what we're going to do now." They went out. They did it. It worked. They put up 18 points in the second half.
Yep.
They got close to the win. I don't think they were really. I think Green Bay. I felt like Green Bay had control of the game.
Yeah.
But Chicago were there and they put up a fight. Chicago of the last 5 years go out, lose 28-3, 28-6, or 35-6.
Well, that's been the legacy of the Packers-Bears rivalry over the last 30 years, really, since Brett Favre was quarterback.
I think a Ben Johnson-led team is very different to what Chicago have, or how Chicago have played the last few years.
It is. I think if you're a Bears fan and there's a rematch in 2 weeks' time at Soldier Field, Hawley,
So, yeah, that's exciting.
I don't think you're disappointed with that. Going into Lambeau, only losing by a touchdown. Packers, I think, were 6.5-point favorites in this game. I don't think you're disappointed as a Bears fan.
You're disappointed you lost. You always are. But the way you lost, the way that you showed a bit of fight, you'd look at it and think, all right, we're okay.
And we get the 2 weeks time.
We didn't get blown out. We came back. We fought. We're a maturing team.
Some frustrating penalties from Packers on defense. Keyshawn Nixon, I know he had the interception to end the game, which redeemed him a bit, but he had some bad penalties. Aaron Banks had hands to the face on offense, which negated a big play as well. But the Packers go to the top of the NFC North, which is for Packers fans is a good place to be. And we finally, though, Hawley, more importantly, had a snow game. Our first one of the season.
You were very excited, weren't you?
Well, I was. And it was a snow game where neither offense had any trouble moving the ball at all. And we got to see two elite quarterbacks just going back and forth. And in the fourth quarter, there was 8 minutes and 44 seconds left, Hawley. Joe Burrow hits Mike Gesicki for the touchdown to make it 28-18. Your money on Cincinnati at that point?
Probably has to be, doesn't it, Dos?
In the snow? Then the next drive, the Bills move it down the field and Josh Allen has a 40-yard touchdown where he just runs in untouched. Vintage Bengals defense. And then the Bengals get the ball back and Joe Burrow looks to his right, tries a short screen pass out, and Christian Benford jumps up, two hands, grabs it. I think it surprised him more than anything. I think he was more looking to bat the ball down than what he was to actually
I don't think these guys are ever looking to intercept the ball. I don't think their hand-eye is quite there. You see them when they jump on the ball on the ground that they're not really, they're not able to just scoop it up. So I think you're right. I think he just went up to bat it, and then all of a sudden he thought, here it is. Yeah. I'm taking this to the house.
And it's a 63-yard pick six. Then the next drive, the very first play, this one not so much on Joe Burrow, but it's tipped. It's another interception. And what was 28-18, the Bills have ended up making it 39 or 39-28 out of nowhere. And
21 points in 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
It kills you. And this is the Bengals. This is classic Bengals over the last 2 years.
Yep.
It's Joe Burrow and the offense do as much as they possibly can. I know he did have those two interceptions, which probably cost them, I guess, in the end. But the defense just allowed a bucket load of points. I mean, you can't, I will say the defense allowed 32 points because there was the the pick six, which
Yeah.
isn't on the defense, but it's just if you're gonna win games, like look at Houston, Seattle, all those teams, like their offense is good, or Houston's offense isn't firing. Seattle's is very good, but you put a good defense on this Cincinnati team and they're winning 12, 13 games a season.
Yeah.
It's the same for the last 2 or 3 years that they're putting up points, but they're not winning games. And if you're talking about, frustrated fan bases,
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati would have to be right up there because you've got maybe the best quarterback in the league.
With two of the best receivers, right?
Yes.
And your RB1.
Put an end to Kurt's gutsy call week 1.
What was his gutsy
He
call?
had Bengals to win the last 5 games.
Well, yeah, sorry, Curtis. Fair luck, buddy. But yeah, the Bills seem to show up every now and then. They've lost some stinkers. We've called them pretenders, but then they come out, put up 39 points on the Bengals. They win. Their defense shows up in the last quarter, or the pick six at least.
Yep.
They got probably lucky. Cook did fumble twice on the goal line, or be on the same play.
Yeah. That's right. It was the same drive.
But yeah, still, it's an interesting run home for a lot, or for the AFC East, but for a lot of AFC teams, because it's a tight run this year.
Tight in the wild card.
Tight table.
The AFC is wide open at the moment. I think both conferences are wide open, but the AFC certainly is. And we'll finish in the AFC here with the Steelers going into Baltimore and getting a 27-20 win. They go back to the top, the Steelers, that is, to their division. Aaron Rodgers had the most passing yards since he's joined the Steelers. Couple of big throws to DK Metcalf. And they haven't really been able to do that for most of the season. There hasn't sort of been, well, not consistently anyway. It hasn't been that connection. But this game will be remembered by Baltimore fans as one where Isaiah Likely caught the ball in the end zone, 2 hands to it, both feet down.
Couple weeks in a row for the big boy.
But he didn't take the second step or the natural football movement before Joey Porter Jr. got his fist in to cause the fumble. It felt like
my boy Joey Porter.
Your boy Joey Porter Jr.
It felt a little controversial because when he had the ball in his mitts, he grabbed it and he had a foot down. So then do you say that next step is a second step, or is it the third step where he's actually had proper control of it and then starts to fumble? So he obviously had that fumble going into the end zone last week.
The Thanksgiving game against
Thanksgiving game. This
Bengals,
week, you would expect a big boy like Likely to hold on to that against Joey Porter. That's your role. You're a tight end. But for the Baltimore Ravens,
you think Ravens fans would
a little bit angry,
feel a little stiff after that game?
I think, stuff like this is what we talked about last year with a couple coin flips going the Chiefs' way. That kind of stuff, for some reason, would go Travis Kelce's way. Whereas this year for the Baltimore Ravens, it's not quite working like that. And Lamar is having a bad month in a little bit.
He's on the injury report every week.
He's sore. He has to be sore.
Yeah.
There has to be something else going on because Lamar started the season MVP form.
Oh, his first month was crazy.
Last 3 or 4 weeks, he was MVP in the league. The last 5 weeks, he's been a bottom 10 at best quarterback.
That's fair.
Probably,
if not worse.
Yeah, if not worse.
He's been
on the other end, like you said,
Lamar.
we said last week, we don't know how the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have another winning season. What are they going to do? What happens with Mike Tomlin? And then go bang, they beat Baltimore Ravens. Aaron Rodgers throws a 284, runs in a TD himself as well.
Yeah.
First
one since 2022.
It took a while, but he got there. I thought it was slow motion, but when I was watching the replay, I thought they slowed it down. But no, that was full speed. Aaron Rodgers. DK had a big game, 7 for 148. So they got nothing on the ground. 34 yards at 2 yards a carry. We mentioned earlier today that if you run the ball well, you usually win games. They did not run the ball well, but they still managed to get the win. And Baltimore did run the ball well. 217 yards at 5.5 a carry. Like, you're taking that, aren't you?
Yeah. It's one that I think Baltimore
let slip.
Should have won, and they've let slip. We're not going to talk too much about the detail of this game. New Orleans Saints went into Tampa, Raymond James Stadium. It poured with rain the whole game. It was a rock fight. Saints fans who were very happy that follow the pod, Jackie Grant and co., that they got the win. Always good to beat a divisional rival, Hawley. Tyler Shuck had a couple of big moments.
He did. Good for the Saints. They get their We said at the start of the year, are they going to get many wins this year? We were saying 1 or 2 might be a great effort. They've got 3. If they finish like Falcons this week, they could get another win. If they finish at 3-13, or 3-14, or 4-13, probably take it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Tampa Bay now are tied with Carolina for the lead of the NFC South. And it could very well be that the winner of this division again has a below 500 record. They are not playing well.
Carolina play New Orleans twice to finish the season, so you probably expect Carolina to win both of those, and that would get them to a winning record. But Tampa let that one slip. That's one. If they miss the playoffs, it's because they lost to the Saints in week 14.
Yeah. So interesting set of games coming up for the NFC South. I think it's time for us to look ahead to next week, though. And James, how do we go with our locks
on the old no-brainers?
Yeah.
So obviously lost out on the Bucks, but then got the other 3.
That was Curt's decision, I think, wasn't it? To take the Bucks.
I wanted to go the Packers to beat the Bears and was overruled by Curt. He doesn't like it. The spread has to be about 10 points for him to.
We'll blame Curt again for that.
And that's where obviously we had the Patriots still drag over from last week, so that's another one to the tally.
We're using that, absolutely.
They smashed the Giants at MetLife.
So now the totals at 24
75%. I'm happy with that at the moment.
It's good.
If we can push that to 80, that's a pretty impressive season, considering how we started. It's a bit of a Houston type of season. Turnaround. Lose a couple early, and then you come through late, and you're playing very well.
Lose a couple early. All right, so let's look ahead to week 15 because TNF, we've got a classic NFC South matchup, which I don't know if Al Michaels is going to be up for. The Atlanta Falcons are going to Tampa Bay.
That's not a no-brainer.
That's not a no-brainer. I don't like any of those teams at the moment.
Pats, Buffalo, Dos.
Well,
this is a game, isn't it?
Just you could jump well ahead of where it might.
Oh,
hold on, that's
on me.
That got me.
We're not joke of the week yet. Hawley's not ready for that yet.
Oh, sorry. My ESPN has Buffalo, New England next on the list. What have you got? Oh, Bengals, Ravens. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, Ravens at Bengals. Ravens are a 2.5 point favorite.
Leave that.
Well, since he smacked them the other day.
We're leaving that for now.
When we've got here Raiders at Eagles. Now the Eagles are yet to play on Monday night football. I cannot see the Las Vegas Raiders going in and beating the Eagles at the link.
Should we just pull it?
So I think that's a lock.
All right, lock the Eagles, Jim.
Done.
Texans, Cards. Oh, you have to lock the Texans.
Texans, is that it? No, that's in Houston. They're a 9.5 point favorite.
I'm locking Texans.
We're going Texans there.
Chiefs, Chargers, Pats, Bills are 2 awesome games, so we're not touching them, are we?
2 divisional games there. Buffalo, this is a return game after New England went there earlier in the season and beat them. Bills are a 1.5 point favorite for that game, Hawley.
Yeah, okay.
So you're a home underdog, and Chargers at Chiefs. Chiefs are a 4.5 point favorite for that game at Arrowhead. So we'll stay away from those divisional games.
It's a do or die for them, isn't it?
100%. Wow. Yeah.
Jags, Jets, don't think. Oh, Jags should.
Jets will not. The New York Jets will not go down there, whether it's Tyrod Taylor, Justin Fields, or Brady Cook, and beat Jacksonville.
All right, Jacksonville.
So I'm going to lock the Jags. This will be the first time we lock the Jags this year, and you watch what'll happen. Something crazy will happen.
Jets can't. Brees Hall runs for 180 against the best run defense.
No, it'll be the Jets have 4 special teams touchdowns, and then they'll have an interception of Trevor Lawrence who'll throw 3 picks. No, he won't.
Giants, Commanders. I don't think anyone apart from Giants and Commanders fans will be watching that game.
Jeez, that's an absolute
Bears,
toilet
Browns.
bowl game.
Is there anything other than Bears, Browns that we can lock? We're not locking Saints, Panthers, are we?
We've got a Titans and 49ers game.
I see. Titans, 49ers. Okay.
Tennessee aren't going in.
Seahawks, Colts probably isn't a bad lock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Seahawks will win that game.
Seahawks?
That's in Seattle.
We lock Seahawks?
Yeah.
Rams, Lions, awesome game. Broncos, Packers, awesome game. Niners, Titans. You'd expect Niners, but we've already locked Seahawks. Cowboys, Vikings.
Oh, that's Sunday night. Is that Sunday night football game?
Steelers defense for you.
No, it's not.
Steelers defense for
it
your
is.
Tuesday morning, afternoon next week, Dos.
So Sunday night football is Vikings at Cowboys, and then Monday night football next week is Golly. It's Dolphins at Steelers, which is
Dolphins are actually, we didn't talk about them. We don't need to talk about them.
no. I'm not talking about the Miami Dolphins.
Sure.
Yeah, they went
6
into
and 7. They win that. The 7-7. Mike McDaniel keeps his job. There
same
you go.
record as the Chiefs, by the way.
Yeah.
The Miami Dolphins right
Yeah,
now.
they've failed miserably, haven't they?
Lions at Rams is huge, and that's the Jared Goff, Matt Stafford rivalry that we like to see. But that Packers at Broncos game, oh boy,
What's the all-time record for points scored in an NFL game?
you think it might happen in
It
that
could happen. Rams Lions.
Rams and Rams Lions? Yeah, it
Could be a
could
very
be.
very high scoring
You can
game.
look it up. Panthers also a road. Panthers are a 2.5-point favorite on the road to the
72-41.
There you go.
113
There we
points.
go.
Jeez, it'd be a bit.
Redskins Giants.
First week of fantasy playoffs, and you get a game with 113
So,
points. You'd be pretty happy.
I
wouldn't
mean, this is 66, so that's before the merger. So
you? Post-merger. Well, I think we could easily see 6 or 7 touchdowns each
okay,
in that game.
we should have done gutsy calls. Anyway, there's only one way to finish off our
it's a controversial
podcast,
way this week.
and it's joke of the week. Hawley. Oh,
was that too far? Do we need to check with Curt and cut it out? You're the boss, Jim. You're the boss today.
Kurt won't. He won't like
We'll see.
it. Keep
That's
it
it.
in, maybe.
That's it. Maybe check with him, but
Oh,
there we go.
fantastic! Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to us. Please, what's our a little emoji in the comments this week, Hawley? What do you think's relevant this week?
Jeez. Emoji.
I was going to think of it like the tiger, maybe for Jacksonville, for the Jags.
Yeah, all right. Do that.
Chuck a tiger in the comment.
I suppose that's also like Cincinnati Bengals, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Well, we're doing a tiger for the Jags.
Put one in for the Jags.
If you trust the Jags, throw us a tiger.
Yeah, chuck one in, and as well, Hawley.
Dos.
What do our listeners and followers? They need to pay the price. Like, subscribe.
Oh, like, subscribe. Yeah, that's usually your role. I've tuned out by now.
This is true. After
Most
the joke
weeks.
of the week, normally you close a laptop and
Yeah.
and that's done. So
I'm working out how and where I'm going to go to work now.
thank you for thank you to everyone for listening and watching along. As always, we appreciate it. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you, producer James. Been a great episode.
No worries.
Curt will be back next week in the host chair. I can put my feet up and go back.
Thanks for
next
coming
to
down
you.
early, fellas.
And we'll see everyone next week. Thank you.